Hello, everyone. I'm James Milan. Welcome to this ACMi production. This particular ACMi episode is about Martin Luther King's commemoration, but it is also, in fact, about the history of the event here in town and of the person sitting at the table with me, who is to everybody in town. If you have been to a Martin Luther King commemoration event, birthday commemoration event, you know Pearl Morrison, because she is synonymous with that event, and she joins me today to talk both about this year's iteration of that event coming up on January 19th, this coming Monday, but also I wanted to talk to Pearl on this particular year of big anniversaries, right? 250th anniversary for the country, actually the 20th anniversary for ACMi, has us looking back at history that is pertinent for all of us. And so I want to probe with Pearl a little bit of her storied history with both the MLK Jr. birthday commemoration event and just as an activist here in town over these last 40, 50, 60 years, right?
Easily.
So Pearl, first of all, always, we really appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. This is wonderful.
It's always a pleasure to see you, to hear you, and really I have to say that I don't think it's at all hyperbole what I said in the introduction, that anybody who has been, and I've been to, I don't know, 10 or 15 of these now,
yes.
But anybody who's been to even one is going to know, again, your face, your voice, the fact that you are the MC into perpetuity for this this event.
I thank you for that, but that leaves a lot of responsibility.
It does. It does. And we also know that a lot of people are involved with the organizing. And again, this is no diss on anybody else, but we do want to recognize that you're kind of the face of this event here in town.
I started with the very first committee of the Dr. King celebration in Arlington, and I've been active ever since. And the few years lately, I've taken on the responsibility of being the MC and being the chairperson and getting things organized and up and running. And you won't believe it, that program may go on for an hour and a half, but I start planning by myself, say in May or June, and then bring the committee on August and September. So it's
almost a year long.
It's an awful lot of planning, and I am so grateful. The people that I have on the committee, they are just wonderful. I do a certain amount. Everyone has their thing that they do, and it just all comes together. Tonight we'll have a final meeting before the event, and I'm going to hear, I've done this, I've done that, I need this, I don't need that. And it's going to be wonderful. And we just submitted the program to Swifty Printing. They do the program for us. They give us a nice pro bono. And I looked at the program and I said to Lee Finna, who produces the program, and I said, I can't wait for Monday. This looks so good.
Oh, good.
You're going to be so excited.
So let's talk. Let's talk about that then.
Okay. So this is the 38th Martin Luther King celebration, and we're going to follow our usual routine, which is to have a guest speaker and to have music and refreshments and all that goes with it. So our guest speaker is Jackie Jenkins Scott, and she is the past president, and in fact, the first Black female president of Wheelock College. Did an awful lot at Wheelock College. She was at the leader of the Dimmock Center. The Dimmock Center was in bankruptcy just about. She went there, raised tons of money, and she brought that place to be the first wonderful health center in
Dimmock is well known now.
in Boston. And then when she left, She went from Dimmock to Weehlockman. Then she went to Roxbury Community College. And as an interim, her job was to get some money, to get it prepared to hire a new person. And she did all of that. She got sponsorship. She got all kinds of grants, and she pulled them up out of a problem as well. So she's been a transformative person.
Right. She's been a mover and a shaker in the different places she's been. So,
and now she has her own business, which I don't know that much about. But she's going to be very interesting. I think she's going to talk about community and what needs to be done. And then the music is by my church male choir, People's Baptist Male Chorus. And they've been rehearsing for a couple of weeks. I heard them after church on Sunday. They're in fine voice, and so they're going to come. And then we have, which is really special, we're going to give, we have our annual community awards for people who replicate that Martin Luther King spirit. And so this year it's going to Kathy Bodie, who was a retired superintendent of the Arlington Public Schools. And for the very simple reason that when Kathy Bodie came on board as superintendent, she recognized that there was a diverse population in Arlington, a great diversity in the student body. So she knew, it's time now that we have some diversity in curriculum, diversity in hiring, and so forth. And she rolled up her sleeves, and it wasn't easy. I'm sure there was some pushback. It wasn't easy, but she stuck to it. And so we're recognizing her, and also to Rob. Rob is the human resource person, and we're recognizing Rob because before there was a diversity, equity, inclusion, before we had that in the schools, it was Rob's responsibility to see to it that to work hand in hand, of course, with the superintendent and the school committee, to see to it that we had diversity within
so he was basically doing
staff.
that job before it was actually an official job.
We were doing that long before DEI became popular. The Superintendent's Diversity Advisory Committee, which I also was on at the beginning, we started with Superintendent Walter Devine, and every year, every superintendent we met with them. But Kathy Bodie, all the other superintendents, they each did something to help us out and to see our agenda. But she really carried it through. It took a while, but she worked with us. And so it was obvious that it was time to say, okay, let's reckon. We probably should have done it a little earlier, but here we are. And so she and Rob are going to be our receive our special awards. Miriam Stein is going to present it along with myself. Miriam Stein is the chairperson of Superintendent's Diversity Advisory Committee.
Also been involved with this kind of work in this town for a long time, just like yourself.
A wonderful social worker, and she's been involved with the community for quite a while. So and we have all of the bakeries in Arlington. They're all going to send their best goods to us.
Is that right? So a little bit of a bake-off there.
So it's really, so you're going to have great treats, and and so I'm telling you, it's really a wonderful night. It's a lot of work, but I think in the town of Arlington, I really feel as though our Arlington residents look forward to attending this. And they have come in rain, sleet, snow, freezing weather, they fill the seats. And I'm always looking and I'm saying, I take no credit for that. I give it to the legacy of Dr. King. All these years, and still he is admired, and still he is celebrated. And so I think it's his legacy that people want to come out and say, I still see you, I still hear you.
I'm really glad that you mentioned that because, as I said, I've been to quite a number of them myself over the years. And you're certainly right. Mid-January, I mean, Dr. King didn't decide when he would be born, but he happened to be born in mid-January. And that in New England, you can never tell what the conditions are going to be.
No, you don't
and
know.
You're right, that year in and year out, first, the church that in which it took place, St. John's, was that?
No, First Baptist Church.
First Baptist, right.
First Baptist Church.
First, the church with the potluck meal and everything was always full.
Yes.
And then when it moved to town hall, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so, it has been full ever since. And clearly it is a tribute, first and foremost, to Dr. King.
It is.
But also to those of you doing the work to make this happen for us every year.
It's work of the heart, and we all respect Dr. King's legacy. It's kind of easy because he was so respected and so intelligent and such a humanitarian. You look at his quotes and you say, "Oh my God, he's just full of it, full of the humanity and all that goes with it."
Yeah, and the spirit that kind of suffuses all that endures and, again, appeals to so many different people and applies to so many different situations. We mentioned this last year. You and I spoke about this in advance. We did this kind of thing to introduce the event or to preview the event. And then at the event itself, there was a clear sense that this is a time right now. This is a time when his message is as necessary, more necessary, whatever you want to say about that. It is compellingly important that we gather together and celebrate this kind of legacy.
And that is the reason why the interfaith community of Arlington started this celebration, because Charles Grady, who was then the pastor of the First Unitarian Universalist Church, I call it the UU so often I forget what it stands for, and that is what he has said. It seems as though there are these bigotry type incidents, these racial incidents, these incidents of inequality are creeping back into our culture. So we need to do something.
And this was in the late 1980s, I think, if I got my math right. You would have begun this whole tradition back in 1988 or so. Tell us, you were here for that, right? You were here for the beginning of the commemorations. Oh yeah,
I was on the founding committee.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that time.
Well, I tell you, we worked at this and we decided what type of a venue we were going to present. And we got Franklin Jennifer to be our first speaker. And then we were concerned, are we going to be able to get enough people to come out to fill the Unitarian Church auditorium? Do you think we're going to have enough people interested in what we're doing? And we advertised, word of mouth, we called around. Then, as we were getting close to the program, we found out we had so many people interested in coming. And that's when we first went to the First Baptist Church. Because the pastor at that time, he said, well, come over to our church. We have a big kitchen. We have a nice fellowship hall. That fellowship hall was filled. The chairs, we were squeezed in, the tables, and the people on the committee and people that were attending, they were asked to bring enough food to serve 4. And my goodness, we had, of course, all types of pastas, but we also had meats and vegetables and salads and homemade bread, and it was just wonderful. So after the meal, everyone was very receptive to the program.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but and that continued for really continued for a long time. And then we decided, okay, we need to take this to the town hall. And so we ended up over at the town hall, and that's just been wonderful. Patsy Kramer has done everything within her power to prepare the town hall and to make us welcome. And you have entering the town hall. You notice you have 2 display cases, one on either side, and the committee, we used to put things in the display cases that we thought were, well, that illustrated Dr. King's legacy and his work and his times. And now the Arlington High School, Leo Mulner, who was the head of visual and graphic arts, he is, and the students and the teachers, they fill the display cases. So that's nice. I don't have to do that anymore.
Right. And I remember, that's been a feature the last few years.
Yeah, and so there, I imagine soon, maybe today or tomorrow, they'll be going over and kind of filling those cases. So I want everyone that may be listening, be sure that if you come in the side door, go out to the atrium and see what the kids have done.
Very good. Yeah. Very good point. Yeah. So just go ahead.
No. So I was going to say. So that was our first, and we've had so many special speakers since then, and they're all mentioned in our program. And one of the things that I do remember is when Deval Patrick was one of our speakers.
Right. So for those of you who might not know, a former governor of Massachusetts, very, very respected and admired man, including at the time you're about to tell us about.
Yeah, and so we asked him, and he came to the Dr. King celebration, and as he was, he just sat on the side of the pulpit very casually and gave his talk about Dr. King and how he was inspired by Dr. King. And then he said, and that is what's driving me to run for governor. So he announced that he was going to run for governor at our program.
I remember,
so that was wasn't that special?
Again, you kind of felt like you were in the center of the world for a moment, right?
Yeah. And we've had Peniel Joseph, who was a gentleman at Tufts, and he was a mover and a shaker there as far as the history of African Americans, the history of our governments, and
one of the more prominent kind of intellectual voices around this in the country.
And we had him. The next thing you know, he left and he went to Texas, but he was in Arlington and gave a wonderful talk. And I'm trying to think of some of the we've had school committee people from Boston. We've had city councilors. We've had statesmen of all kinds, but every year we do have we try to bring I try to reach for the iron of the communities that they're in: education, history, justice. I try to reach and bring them to before Arlington. And of course, there are others that certainly would be exciting speakers. They just happen not to be Black. And I have been questioned about that. Why don't you have this one? Why don't you have that one? Are they Black? No. Well, but they're good. I grant you that. I grant you. I give you that. But my issue is that blacks seldom have the audience. They seldom have the opportunity to represent themselves. And so my feeling is this one time, this one program, that I'm going to make it my responsibility to bring them forward and to introduce them to Arlington. And some of them, Arlington has never, they have never met them before, or their work, or whatever. And so that is why the people may be concerned. So that's my thought.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you sharing that with us. I'm sure it has come up at various times over the years.
Yes, it has.
And I think you make a very, very good point, you know, which is Black voices have been and continue to be excluded from a lot of the public arena, a lot of public discourse and a lot of potential forums. And you're taking the opportunity to say, to put down a flag and say, no, here and around this legacy, we are going to feature and highlight and, you know, particularly amplify the voices of Black men and women.
And you notice our special accommodations do not go to blacks. They go to various communities in Arlington. But the speakers, yes.
And that is, again, Pearl, you've put in the work for a lot of years now, and you, as you're saying, even every year from, you know, you start in April, May, whatever, to prepare for the next year, you've put in that work. You get to make those decisions. And we hope that you will be doing both the work and the decision making for years to come.
Well, my assumption is that a marvelous committee that we have, that they are in agreement with that, and they work just as hard as I do to bring this before our residents.
All right, great. So we've come full circle then to recognizing the committee and the work that you do, and to reminding people it's coming up on Monday, January 19th.
6:30.
Again, the program starts at 6:30 at Arlington's Town Hall. There is, as Pearl has already described, both musical entertainment. There's going to be an excellent keynote speech by the speaker. There will be, you know, Pearl presiding over the proceedings, etc.
I won't be presiding, but I'll be doing a few things.
All right, you'll be doing a few things.
Yeah, Attorney Neil Osborne. He's going to be.
Neil Osborne, another man with whom we are familiar, and a local mover and shaker. Absolutely. So that is good news as well. Good to share with folks. But we definitely hope to see you there. We encourage you to be there. If by any means or for any reason you're not able to be there, don't despair. ACMi will, as always, carry this on our live stream, as has been our tradition for a lot of years, though not as many as Pearl has been involved with the whole thing.
And preceding you, there was Bill. You know, and
Bill Hamilton.
Bill Hamilton
shout out to Bill.
would do a video. Then you folks stepped in. So
for years he shared that video with us, and we put it on our channels.
Network,
but then, you know, as it moved to Town Hall, and as he just started to segue out of that, we took up the reins, and happy to do so.
It's been like that for the Martin Luther King program, where there's been a void, someone has stepped right in and taken over.
All right.
So it's nice. It's wonderful. I appreciate everything that everyone does. I really appreciate them.
There may be voids at different places, but one thing has not been, and that is you and your presence and your contribution.
Yes, from your lips to God's ears.
All right. I have been speaking with, as I've mentioned before, local icon, Pearl Morrison, about the event, the Martin Luther King event coming up on January 19th. We really want to thank Pearl for being here.
Thank you for having me.
As always, it's like not easy to get around in town these days, you made it into the studio no problem. We thank Pearl. We also thank you for your time. For ACMi, I'm James Milan. On behalf of Pearl Morrison and ACMi, We appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next time.
ACMi productions are only made possible with your support. Visit patreon.com/ACMi to learn how you can help.